it's Dragon Tamer Tony, and today we're gonna pick up some supplies for the red tortoise today, and an affordable setup inspired by Garden State Tortoises Enclosure Guide for a baby tortoise.
My dad forgot to say we're gonna go to Target. We're here to get an enclosure for our redfoot tortoise. Just like that, we're checking out.
So me and Lani are off to PetSmart to get some accessories for the red-footed tortoise. I have to say, between PetSmart and Petco, the accessories and enclosures you get a lot more value and a better deal at PetSmart. Look at this great deal you get. For 124 bucks, you get a 40-gallon opening front doors. You get all these accessories. Some of them I do not recommend, but I 100% recommend getting something like this to get started in the reptile hobby and try to thrive out.
So for your red-footed tortoise, it's recommended you get Reppy soil and a blend of other substrates. This would be perfect for your baby tortoise for shelter. You're also gonna need a digital thermostat to monitor your temperature for your baby tortoise.
So we're also getting a lampstand for our baby tortoise to be able to adjust the height to get the right temp as well.
I don't recommend this. Don't get this. It will tire out your hands. I recommend this. Don't get fake plants because your tortoises might think they're real and they will try eating them. We are now going to Petco.
So we are inside Petco getting our heating supplies and our UVB for our tortoise. We're going to pick up this Arcadia right here, 24 watt. It's not inexpensive, but it's worth it for your reptile, especially a tortoise that needs the health benefits of growing a good shell. Not only that, we are going to pick up the Arcadia basking bulb. We're going to try this out for the first time. I never tried it before. I'll keep you guys tuned. See you at home. We are now at Home Depot getting some food bowls for our red-footed tortoise because Garden State Tortoise recommended a nice, affordable option for food bowls. So I get these food bowls. They're very shallow and it lowers the probability of your tortoise flipping over. Hey Dragon Tamers, we just arrived home and I'm ready to share with you how to set up your baby red-footed tortoise's enclosure for its first year of life, its nursery. And this video is inspired by Kamp, Kenan, and Garden State Tortoise. So first thing first, we need to start out with the substrate. I like to start off with Reppy soil. I use it for all my reptiles because it has a nice special blend. As you can see right here, it says peat moss, soil, sand, and carbon. You're not gonna beat that, so you're gonna start pouring that in just like that. I would say get it at least a good 3 to 4 inches. So I'm just gonna play with this a little bit right here like that. We're gonna go ahead and start dumping our Eco Earth. It's just basically coconut fiber. To mix that all in together, just like that. I used to use Repti bark, but I have found with my reptiles, man, they struggle sometimes when it comes to eating. My ball python, my tegu, they're so intelligent. When they go to eat, sometimes they get it on the side of their mouth and they're just having a hard time spitting it out. And I don't like to see my animals stress or make their time less enjoyable being with me. So I'm kind of straying away from the Repti bark. I know it helps with humidity, but my reptiles are not having great success with it. The food bowl and the water bowl were both recommended by Garden State Tortoise. You can pick this up at your local Lowe's or Home Depot. This is a saucer terracotta plate. I'm just gonna place it right here. The food bowl and the water dish right over here, ever so nicely. You wanna sink it in so your baby can just walk right in it and not tip over, so to speak. This nursery is made out of plastic, so I totally recommend a stand for this type of setup. What I really like about this stand, it has nice cable management. It's adjustable in height. Not only that, the heating source, I'm using Arcadia Light products for the UVB and for the basking bulb. So next up, you're gonna wanna hide for your baby red-footed tortoise. I'm gonna put it on the more cooler side, the humid side of the tank. Hey Dragon Tamers, after 2 weeks of trial and error, of dialing in the basking temperature of 95, the ambient temperature of at least 80 to 85%, and a constant 80% humidity in this 110 quart enclosure for the first year of life for my redfoot tortoises. How did I do it? Most importantly, the redfoot tortoises come from South America, from these tropical forest lands that have high humidities, and it's very optimal and important that these little creatures, redfoot tortoises, are able to thrive in the same humidity that you can offer in your home for the first year of life. So how I am able to do this is I purchased a ReptiZoo fogger. It's a 4-liter one, and it has done wonders. It's digital timer, so you're going to be able to dial in the best aspects. And I have found with this 4-liter ReptiZoo fogger that the best settings for me personally to have this lid at least 50% to 70% on at all times. It gives you room for the heating element. It gives you room for the, for me, the Arcadia UVB and the fogger to sit and have its space as well. The reason being, I recommend the fogger over just misting and spraying for the 100% fact you want to have the best probability of having a healthy tortoise. In this case, tortoise is the same thing. They're in the same family. You want to be able to offer the best probable outcome without any issues and complications. I have found with misters that they absolutely do not wet up the enclosure like you would if you're spraying it with a mister, not a fogger. And the reason being, you do not want to cause your tortoise to have fungus, shell rot, because of the enclosure being too damp. It is still a battle for me in regards to having the right moisture within the actual enclosure, the dampness of the topsoil. It is still a little battle, but I'm getting a lot better. Having the fogger go right over the water bowl helps tremendously. I 100% believe the fogger is the easiest probable outcome for you to have a successful, thriving little tortoise. So after trial and error, I have found the best ultimatum to be able to have the great ambient temperature that is necessary for these tortoises and to have the correct basking spot. You're going to need a digital thermometer attached to your heating source. I tried it with just a stand, rising it and lowering it, but in this type of setup, you're either going to get the basking temperature too high or the cool side too cool. I like to have it leveled right here. I like to have the temperature set on the digital thermometer around 78 to 80 degrees, and that gives me a basking spot around 95 degrees, 95, sometimes not even 97. And then the gradient goes all the way down to 70 degrees, which I love. It's very important to maintain this structure right here, the lid, over the Sterilite container to be able to contain the humidity and moisture as possible. Earlier, I placed all the products in the position where I think they would thrive the best for the tortoises. After 2 weeks, I've learned quickly where to place everything. So we're going to take this lid off right now, and I want to show you the inside of this tortoise enclosure. And inside of this tortoise enclosure, I'm going to have the log set up, the hide, all the way to the furthest corner of the basking area. That's going to be the cool side. You're going to have your sphagnum moss. You don't want it too damp, but you want it to be moist. Right here, what you see is all this topsoil. It's different from what you see at the basking area. The basking area has eco earth. This is more Repti soil. I'm going to mix some Repti earth with this topsoil as well to hopefully get away some of the dampness, because that is not optimal. And I'm being 100% transparent with you. After placing the dish all the way to the right hand corner, thinking that would be the best spot for the water dish, it was not the best spot. The middle is. The reason being, having the dish at the center of this whole entire setup helps create humidity that spreads and disperses more evenly throughout the enclosure, from my experience, hands-on. And it also helps with the fogger's tube system to directly fog into the water, helping to keep the moisture down within the terrarium enclosure setup that you see right here for these tortoises. The food dish, I like to have it near the center of the terrarium setup, because I have found that the vegetation does not get so damp and it doesn't get so flat. When I had it all the way in the moist side on the damp end, it became very damp, as if you left vegetables out the night before or something like that. No, but The food stays fresher at the center next to the fogger from my experience, as you can see. This is 24 hours of this food being in here that's going to be changed out very shortly. So I placed a slated rock for the purpose of feeding them their food on the slate rock. I didn't feel like it was the best outcome for this type of enclosure setup, but I do believe the slated rock has a purpose of helping the tortoises just have another texture of an enrichment within their enclosure. I was going to use it for their beaks, but for the setup I'm not going to use it. That's why I have these terracotta dishes to help with that for the first year of life. But I feel like it's just going to be another texture for them to feel, even, you know, to put their nails on, their claws, and to be able to possibly even file those down as well, naturally. Dragon Tamers, if you have gotten this far into the video and you haven't subscribed, subscribe to Dragons Captured Daily. I'm Dragon Tamer Tony, and I hope you enjoy your wonderful day wherever you are.